board member up here. How about that? Friends, I am so excited you're here tonight. What a cool place. This is so much fun. We have been traveling all over this Commonwealth of Virginia. And I'll tell you, it has been amazing. What's happening everywhere we go is crowds are like this everywhere we go. It's so much fun. All right, so we're in this bus. And by the way, I hadn't seen the bus ahead of time, and so I walked up and said, this is an awesome bus. And we're asking everybody to sign the bus. So when we're done tonight, please go outside, get a pen, we got these cool pens, and sign the bus. What that allows us to do is allows us to have thousands of Virginians with us everywhere we go. Sign the bus. But friends, the reason why that's important is because everywhere we go, we're standing up for Virginians. For it's not Republicans against Democrats. This is about Virginians. Yes. And together, we in fact we have a moment here, a defining moment, where we all get to change the trajectory of this great Commonwealth of Virginia. Not just for Virginians, not just for those that live here, but for the entire United States of America. Everybody's watching us. Everybody is watching us because we all believe, we know that we need to be able to march forward in the relentless pursuit of a better life, of prosperity, so it's not blocked and inhibited by politicians who are more interested about their own advancement, their own success, as opposed to the people that they were elected to serve. We see a culture today where we're told that we should accept low standards, we should shelve hope. Friends, Virginians are just flat saying absolutely not here anymore. That's what's happening all over the Commonwealth of Virginia. Friends, this is no longer a campaign. It is a movement. It is a movement where we are all standing up for our children, for our grandchildren, for our nieces, for our nephews. We're actually standing up and saying we have a fundamental right to be engaged in our kids' education. We have a fundamental right. We have a fundamental right to make decisions about our lives as opposed to having big government making them all for us. This is where we stand. A moment where we can come together as Virginians and unleash the Virginia promise. A promise where we soar as Virginians. We don't settle. A promise where we, in fact, can get Virginia where we know she needs to be, the best place in America to live and work and raise a family. This is what's in front of us. But it hangs in the balance right now. Right now it hangs in the balance because over the course of the next 7 days, Virginians are going to make a decision. And we're going to make a decision on which way this country and which way this Commonwealth are going to go. Now, over the course of the last 8 years, we've seen elections have consequences. And the consequences for Virginians have been dire. They have. Boy, the last 2 years, it's been crushing. We watched the left, liberal, progressive leadership in Richmond try to turn Virginia into California East. And we are just not going to have it anymore.
Not today.
No. So here we are. There is a spirit in the air. That spirit in the air is of great Virginians who, in fact, formed this country. The founders, George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, James Madison, John Monroe, Patrick Henry. It started here, folks. I mean, our nation's history is Virginia's history. And our nation's future is going to rest in Virginia's present because we get to make a decision. And that decision is either going to be for big government control or it is going to be for liberty, and I stand for liberty. Friends, I get asked all the time, Glenn, what's that first day going to be like? And let's go on a walk together because I'm going to tell you exactly what it's going to be like. That first day on January 15th. Where Jason Miyares, who is going to be our next Attorney General. Winston Sears, who's going to be our next Lieutenant Governor. And I have the amazing privilege, portico, and putting our hand on a holy Bible and swearing to God Almighty that we are going to protect and defend the Constitution of the United States of America and the Constitution of this great Commonwealth of Virginia. And then we're going to walk down those steps. We're going to walk down those steps, and Paige is going to join Jason, and Terrence is going to join Winsome, and my amazing wife Suzanne is going to join us. And then we're going to say amen together, and then we're going to work, because we got a lot of work to do to get Virginia moving. And on day one, we are going to cut the cost of living in Virginia. We are going to reduce everybody's taxes because it is too expensive to live here. We have seen over the course of the last year, the progressives in Richmond have overtaxed Virginians by $2.6 billion in the middle of a pandemic. They think it's their money. I know it's your money. Terry McAuliffe wants to spend your money. I want to make sure it comes back to you. Friends, on day one, we're going to declare the largest tax refund in the history of Virginia. On day one, we're going to eliminate the grocery tax. We're going to suspend the most recent increase in the gas tax. We are going to double everybody's standard deduction, and we're going to go to work for our veterans. Our veterans deserve so much better. We, in fact, are going to build up over 3 years to $40,000 for our veterans, and we're going to exclude it from taxes altogether. Friends, in the first year, it's going to total over $1,400, nearly $1,500 in tax savings in year one. My opponent, hundreds of pages of policy, scored to cost Virginians $16 billion. $5,400 for every Virginia family in raised taxes. Friends, it is your money, not his, and I'm going to make sure we get our cost of living down in Virginia so we will all stay here. Friends, on day one, just like Kelly said, we are going to make sure that Virginia schools stand for excellence on a go-forward basis because our kids deserve it. You know, when Terry McAuliffe was governor, 88 schools failed to reach their accreditation. Rather than do the hard work and fix them, you know what he did? He lowered the standards so not one would fail. This is the legacy that he left us. He left us a legacy where it could be called leave every child behind. Friends, this is what it is today. Virginia ranks 50th in the nation, 50th in the standards to progress in reading and math. Is it any wonder why when the latest test scores came out this past spring, 55% of white children in Virginia can't pass the 8th grade math equivalency test. 70% of Latino children and over 80% of black children. Friends, the gap is unacceptable. The absolute magnitude of these numbers are just shocking. Just shocking. This is the legacy that Terry McAuliffe left us. Friends, we are not going to be the Commonwealth of low expectations. We are going to be the Commonwealth of high expectations. And so, yes, by December 1st, I will name a new Secretary of Education in Virginia. I will name a new State Superintendent of Schools in Virginia. And on day one, January 15th, I will proclaim that Virginia schools never again will be closed to anything other than 5 days a week in-person education. We will raise expectations, and then we will fund in the largest education budget in the history of Virginia. We will raise teacher salaries. We will, in fact, fund into crumbling buildings. We will fund into our special education programs because Virginia's kids with disabilities have suffered mightily during this pandemic. Mightily. And then, friends, we are going to launch the most aggressive charter school program in the history of Virginia, so parents have choice. So you have choice. You all see it. You see it in North Carolina. Virginia has 8 charter schools in the entire Commonwealth of Virginia. Maryland has 140. North Carolina has 190 charter schools. So on day one, we're going to launch 20 innovation charter schools so our kids can either be college ready or career ready right out of the box. But that's just a down payment. It's a down payment to close that gap over our 4 years. We're going to do it so fast to make your head spin so that parents have choice within our public school system. That's what we're going to get done. And finally, friends, it's more than funding, and it's more than charter schools. It's curriculum. We know what we have to do. So let me just be really clear. We will teach accelerated math in our schools. We will award advanced diplomas. We will teach all history, the good and the bad. But what we will not do, we will not teach our children to view everything through a lens of race. We won't. Friends, today a political ideology has made its way into our classrooms. It forces all the kids to view everything through a lens of race. It divides us into buckets. And then it pits our kids against one another. Our kids aren't brought up that way. They're brought up to love everyone. There's one body of Christ. We know this. And friends, it flies in the face of everything we know is right. I mean, Dr. Martin Luther King, he implored us to be better than we are, to judge one another based on the content of our character, not the color of our skin. And so on day one, I will ban critical race theory from being on day one, we're going to stand up for law enforcement because they stand up for us. We're at a 20-year high murder rate. 4 of Virginia's great cities are ranked in the top 65 deadliest cities in America, with Richmond at number 11, Norfolk, Hampton, Newport News. Terry McAuliffe doesn't care about this. When he was governor, the murder rate went up 43%. The rape rate went up every year. He wouldn't even meet with the Police Benevolent Association. Stood them up. Friends, this is why law enforcement has universally endorsed us. The Fraternal Order of Police, the Police Benevolent Association, 50 sheriffs, 4 sheriffs switched parties during all this. They don't trust it, they trust us. Why? Because we're going to go to work on day one. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to comprehensively fund law enforcement, higher salaries, better equipment, full training. We're going to protect qualified immunity. We're going to fund into our mental health system, which is in a state of crisis. And on day one, I will fire the entire parole board and we'll start all over. And friends, on day one, it's going to be a busy day, but there's another 4,000 coming. So get ready. On day one, here we go. On day one, we're going to make government work for us and stop telling us what to do all the time. It starts with our constitutional rights. We know it does. Our First Amendment rights. I mean, when this governor opened up ABC stores and kept my church closed, I knew exactly he doesn't start where I do every morning, which is in prayer. We got to protect our Second Amendment rights. He wants to take guns away from law-abiding citizens, and he wants to make it easier for criminals to get guns. That's what he wants to do. We have to protect our 10th Amendment rights. Jason Miaras and Winsome Sears and I are absolutely going to push back on overreach from Washington. We're going to work for Virginians. This is what we're going to do. Friends, I'm telling you. We're going to press forward with investments in critical infrastructure. We must have rural broadband available to everybody. We must continue to invest in our highway system. And friends, there's one thing that really, really is one of my biggest pet peeves. I cannot stand inefficiency and waste. And here I am going into government. So on day one, we're going to launch an audit of every department in Virginia's government. Every single one. And the first 2 we're starting with. We're going to be looking for fraud, waste, transparency. And the first 2 we're starting with are the Virginia Employment Commission and the Department of Motor Vehicles. By the way, let me tell you how I know we're making some progress, because down the road you're going to call the DMV and 2 things are going to happen. First, someone's going to answer the phone. And second of all, when they answer the phone, they're going to say, "Hi, how may I help you?" This is what we're going to have a government that works for us and stops telling us what to do. Friends, this is our moment. It's our moment as Virginians to make a change. It's our moment to stand up together. It is not about me. It's not about Winsome. It's not about Jason. It's about us. And it's about us standing up and doing more than voting. It's more than voting. It's getting in the arena with us. Because this is what Virginians do. We do not follow, we lead. It is that spirit. It's that spirit of Jefferson and Washington, Monroe and Madison. Friends, Patrick Henry stood up in front of the entire nation and stomped his foot and said, we will not ratify that Constitution without a Bill of Rights. A Bill of Rights that stands for individual freedom against big government overreach. Sound familiar? Here we are. And guess what? They used Virginia's Bill of Rights, written by George Mason, to build the Bill of Rights for America today. This is our moment. We stand on the shoulders of giants. But it's our turn. It's our turn to lead not just Virginia, but the nation. So friends, I need your help right now. This race is neck and neck. Whoever works the hardest, whoever leaves it all on the court, skinned elbows, skinned knees, this is what it's going to take. And it is about us. So here's what I need from you. 5 things. First, I need you to go vote. But I need you to bring 10 friends. And 10 friends that aren't here, and 10 friends that are going to vote the right way. Go to work for me. Be responsible for 10 friends. Second, I need you to get a red sign and put it in your yard. These red signs are everywhere in Virginia. Everywhere.
2 in my yard.
There you go. So somebody else can got 3. Do I hear 3 in the yard? Do I hear 3 in the yard? Yes. Friends, these signs they're like permission slips for your neighbors to say, yeah, I'll vote for him too. They're everywhere. In Old Town Alexandria, I didn't even think there were Republicans in Old Town Alexandria. Friends, the signs are everywhere. There are red signs across this whole country. Third thing we need. I need you to volunteer. Now, friends, this isn't well, maybe I can make 2 hours. I need you to create time in your schedule. We need people to work the polls. We need you to be election observers. We'll train you. We need you. We need folks to hand out sample ballots. So when folks walk up, they know how to vote. We need you to knock doors to get the vote out, make phone calls. This is not a spectator sport. It is time to get in the arena. This is a challenge to everybody here. It's more than voting. It is being engaged in Virginia's future. Get in the arena with us. We need you. Fourth thing. I'm trying to meet 8.5 million Virginians. I can't get there. I'm doing my best. I need you to talk to as many friends as you can. You know exactly what we're going to do. We're going to cut taxes. We're going to go to work to make our schools excellent. We're going to stand up for law enforcement. We're going to make sure that we get this economy moving so that everybody has a shot at a great career. And oh, by the way, we're going to stand up for our rights. Please tell your friends, get them out to vote. And finally, and I don't presuppose where anybody is in their prayer life. I don't. But if you have a prayer life, put us in it. Put us in it. Jason, his wife Paige, Winsome, her husband Terrence, Suzanne, and me, our kids. This is the moment for us to get the help we know we need. This is it. This is it. It is a 7-day sprint, and we are going to win back the Commonwealth of Virginia. We're going to change the future of this Commonwealth, the future of our country. And our country needs it. Our country is watching us because they need it. You know how many notes I get from parents, texts and emails, and from all over the country who say, stand up for our children too. Stand up for our children too. This is it. Friends, here we go. I need you to do this. And so tonight, I'm asking for your commitment. Tonight, I'm asking for you to get in the arena. Tonight, I'm asking for you to love the Commonwealth of Virginia the way I know you all do. Let's get this done. And on January 15th, I will have the most heartfelt sense of privilege, of honor. I'll be humbled beyond anything you can possibly imagine to go work for all of you as the 74th governor of this great Commonwealth of Virginia. God bless you.